Welcome to what might be the most important masterclass you will ever watch on the English language. Today, we are not going to talk about grammar. We are not going to look at lists of vocabulary. And we are certainly not going to do another simple repeat after me exercise. Today, we are going to tear down the wall that stands between you and the real English-speaking world. We are going to solve the exact reason why you can read an English book, why you can write an email, why you can even score high on a test. But the second a native speaker talks to you in real life, your brain completely shuts down. You are about to learn the system to decode native spoken English. By the end of this session, you will understand exactly why English sounds like a completely different language when it is spoken at full speed, and more importantly, you will have a step-by-step blueprint to train your ears so that you never have to ask someone to speak slowly ever again. This is a deep dive. This is a complete training session. So put your phone away, remove all distractions, and listen to every single word I say until the very end. Subscribe to our channel because this video may become the most important turning point in your English journey. Let me paint a picture of a situation you know all too well. You are sitting in a coffee shop or maybe in an online meeting. You have studied English for years. You know the grammar rules. You have memorized thousands of words. Someone asks you a question. You recognize the first word, maybe you catch the last word, but everything in the middle sounds like a long, messy, blurry sound. You panic. You smile. You nod your head. You pretend you understood. And inside, your confidence completely shatters. Or maybe you are watching a movie. You turn the subtitles on, and you understand 100% of the dialogue. You think to yourself, I know all these words. But the moment you turn those subtitles off, the actors sound like they are speaking an alien language. You rewind. You listen again. Still nothing. You turn the subtitles back on, and you realize they were using basic, simple words that you learned in middle school. Why does this happen? Is your hearing bad? Is your brain too slow? No. The reason this happens is the greatest deception in the history of English education. You have been trained your entire life to understand textbook English. You have been taught by teachers who speak slowly, who pronounce every single letter, who leave clear spaces between every single word. But out in the real world, native speakers do not speak textbook English. They speak street English. They speak survival English. They speak a version of the language that is designed for maximum speed and minimum effort. In this masterclass, we are going to break down exactly how they do this and how you can hack your own brain to finally hear it. Part 1. The Science of the Blur. To fix your listening, you first have to understand what your ears are actually fighting against. Most learners believe that spoken English is just written English read out loud. This is a fatal mistake. Spoken English is fundamentally a completely different beast. When native speakers talk, they do not care about spelling. They care about rhythm. They care about breath. They care about getting to the most important word in the sentence as fast as physically possible. Because of this need for speed, native speakers do three violent things to the English language. They reduce, they link, and they delete. Let us start with reduction. In written English, every vowel has a clear sound. But in fast-spoken English, any word that is not the main focus of the sentence gets crushed. It gets reduced to a tiny, weak, lazy sound called the schwa. It sounds like a short, breathy For example, look at the word to. In a classroom, you are taught to say to. I am going to the store. But a native speaker will almost never say to. They reduce it to ta. I am going to the store. Or look at the word for. The teacher says for. The native speaker says fur. I bought this fur. You. It happens so fast that if your brain is waiting to hear the perfect sound for, the sentence will completely pass you by. Next is linking. Native speakers hate silence. They hate spaces between words. If one word ends in a consonant and the next word begins with a vowel, they smash those two words together until they become one new word. If the sentence is, read a book, they do not say read a book. They say, read a book. It sounds exactly like one single word. Reader. Read a book. If the phrase is, stop it, they do not say, stop it. They say, stop it. But the most confusing part is when they link consonants to consonants. When one word ends with a sound like T or D, and the next begins with a Y sound, they create an entirely new letter. What are you doing? Becomes what you doing. The T and the Y combine to make a ch sound. Did you eat? Becomes did you eat. The D and the Y combine to make a G sound. Finally, deletion. This is where native speakers simply throw away letters and sounds because they are too lazy to pronounce them. They drop the h sound at the beginning of words all the time. Tell him becomes tell I am. I saw her becomes I saw her. They drop the T sound at the end of words. I don't know becomes I don't know. They even drop entire words. Do you want to go becomes wanna go? This is the blur. This is the wall of sound that hits your ears. Reductions, linking, and deletions all happening at the exact same time, at 150 words per minute. Your brain is a supercomputer, but right now, it is running the wrong software. It is trying to match the sounds it hears with perfectly spelled words from a dictionary. And because those perfectly spelled words do not exist in fast speech, your brain crashes. It gives you a blank screen. Part 2. Destroying the inner translator. Now that you know why you cannot understand native speakers, we need to address the second massive problem. It is the bad habit happening inside your own head right now. It is the habit of translation. When you hear an English sentence, what is your brain actually doing? For most of you, it goes like this. You hear the English sound. You freeze that sound in your memory. You figure out what the English word is. You translate that English word into your native language. You figure out the meaning in your native language. You think of a response in your native language. You translate your response back into English, and then you finally try to move your mouth to speak. By the time you finish this massive mathematical equation in your head, the native speaker is already 3 sentences ahead of you. You are completely lost. You cannot listen and translate at the same time. It is physically impossible to keep up with the speed of real conversation if you are taking a detour through your mother tongue. Translation is a crutch. It was useful when you were a beginner, when you needed to understand what a dog or a cat was. But to reach fluency, to reach native-level listening comprehension, you must brutally murder your inner translator. You must train your brain to hear English and understand English in English. You need to connect the sound directly to the concept, the emotion, or the image, without ever thinking of the word in your own language. Think about the word stop. When someone yells stop on the street, you do not translate it. You instantly freeze. Your body reacts to the sound. The sound itself carries the meaning. You have completely bypassed translation. That is your goal for the entire English language. So how do we achieve this? How do we build this automatic, thought-free comprehension? We do it by changing the way you study from passive consumption to active auditory training. Part 3. The Ultimate Listening Mastery Protocol. This is the core of our masterclass. I am going to give you a step-by-step system to rewire your auditory cortex. This is not about watching Netflix and hoping you magically get better. Hope is not a strategy. We are going to treat your ears like muscles, and we are going into the gym. This protocol requires 30 minutes to 1 hour of your absolute focus every single day. If you commit to this, your listening skills will completely transform in the next 90 days. You will start hearing spaces between words that you used to think were just noise. Phase 1. The Blind Audio Challenge. Find a piece of audio that is 1 to 2 minutes long. It must be native, natural, fast English. Do not use English learning podcasts. Use a clip from a late-night talk show, an unscripted YouTube vlog, or a movie scene. The key is that it must have a transcript or perfectly accurate subtitles available, but you are absolutely forbidden from looking at them yet. First, close your eyes. Hit play. Listen to the entire 2-minute clip completely blind. Do not try to understand every word. Try to understand the context. Who is speaking? Are they happy? Are they angry? What is the general topic? Listen to it a second time. Now, focus your brain on the rhythm. Listen to the melody of their voices. Where do their voices go up? Where do they go down? Notice the physical sound of the language. Listen to it a third time. Now, try to pick out the stress words. In English, the most important words in a sentence are spoken louder, longer, and higher in pitch. The nouns, the main verbs, the adjectives. Your brain naturally wants to catch every single word. Stop doing that. Force your brain to only jump from stress word to stress word. If you only catch the stressed words, you will understand 70% of the meaning, even if you miss all the small grammar words in between. Phase 2. Microscopic dictation. This is where the real magic happens. This is the most painful, difficult, and effective listening exercise you will ever do. Take the first 20 seconds of your audio clip. Your goal is to write down exactly what they are saying, word for word. Play the first sentence. Write down whatever you hear. If you only hear a messy sound, write down the letters that match that messy sound. Rewind. Play that same sentence again. Add more words. You might have to listen to a single 5-second sentence 20 or 30 times. That is perfectly fine. You are forcing your brain to dig deep into the frequencies of the sound. You are forcing your brain to stop guessing and start analyzing. When you absolutely cannot figure out what they are saying, when you have written down everything you can, finally, you are allowed to look at the transcript. This is the moment of truth. Compare what you wrote to the actual transcript. Look at the words you missed. Look at the words you heard wrong. Now, ask yourself the most important question. Why did I miss this? Did you miss it because it was a new vocabulary word you did not know? If yes, that is fine. Learn the word. But 90% of the time, that is not the reason. 90% of the time, you will look at the transcript and realize you knew every single word. You missed it because of connected speech. You missed it because they dropped the ha, or they linked the t and the y, or they reduced the vowel to a schwa. When you see the transcript, play the audio again while reading it. Suddenly, your brain will have an epiphany. Your brain will say, "Oh, so that is what wanta sounds like when it is spoken fast. It sounds like wanna." You are building a new database in your brain. You are teaching your brain the street version of the word, not just the textbook version. Phase 3. Synchronization and shadowing. Now that you know exactly what they are saying, and you know exactly how the sounds blend together, you must prove it to your brain by feeling those sounds in your own mouth. Remember, the areas of the brain that handle listening and speaking are deeply connected. When you learn how to produce a sound physically, your brain becomes infinitely better at recognizing that sound when someone else says it. Read the transcript out loud along with the native speaker. Do not speak after them. Speak exactly at the same time as them. Match their speed, match their pitch, match their pauses, match every single lazy reduction and messy connection. If they swallow a letter, you swallow that letter. If they blend two words into a weird new sound, you make that exact weird new sound. You are syncing your physical mouth movements to their auditory rhythm. This forces you to understand the mechanical reality of fast English. You will realize that it is literally impossible to pronounce every letter at that speed without biting your tongue. You have to be lazy to speak fast. Once your mouth understands this laziness, your ears will stop expecting perfection. You will train your ears to anticipate the messy, fast, real version of the language. Phase 4. Auditory overload training. This is a technique used by professional interpreters and language athletes. Once you are comfortable listening to a normal speed podcast or video, it is time to break your comfort zone. Take a piece of audio that you understand reasonably well. Now, go into the settings and change the playback speed to 1.25x or even 1.5x. At first, it will sound ridiculous. It will sound like chipmunks talking. Your brain will panic, but force yourself to listen to it for 5 straight minutes. Close your eyes. Breathe. Try to just catch the stress words. Your brain is a highly adaptable machine. Under the pressure of extreme speed, your brain will be forced to stop translating. It will be forced to abandon the bad habit of analyzing grammar. It simply does not have the time. The sheer speed forces your brain to process meaning instantly or fail completely. After 5 minutes of listening at 1.5x speed, drop the audio back down to normal speed, 1x. When you do this, something miraculous will happen. The normal speed, which used to feel terrifyingly fast, will suddenly feel slow. It will feel clear. It will feel like they are giving you plenty of time to understand. You have stretched your brain's processing capacity. By training with heavy weights, the normal weight feels light. Do this speed overload training for 10 minutes every single day, and I guarantee real-life native speakers will suddenly seem incredibly easy to follow. Part 4. The Context and Anticipation Matrix. So far, we have talked about the physical sounds of English, but listening comprehension is not just an acoustic process, it is a psychological process. The best listeners in the world do not actually hear every single word. They anticipate what is going to be said before the speaker even finishes their sentence. This is called top-down processing. Think about your native language. When someone says, "I am going to the," your brain instantly primes a list of probable words. Store, bank, park, bathroom. You do not need to hear the perfect pronunciation of the final word. A tiny fragment of the sound is enough for your brain to fill in the blank. In English, you struggle because your anticipation engine is broken. Because you are so stressed about hearing the individual sounds, you lose the big picture. You must train yourself to use context as a weapon. How do you do this? You consume massive amounts of highly specific content. If you want to understand business English, do not watch romantic comedies. Watch 100 hours of business pitches, boardroom meetings, and financial analysis videos. By immersing yourself in one specific domain, you will begin to notice that native speakers use the exact same vocabulary, the exact same idioms, and the exact same sentence structures over and over again. Once your brain recognizes these patterns, you stop listening for words and start listening for ideas. When someone in a business meeting says, "Let's touch," you already know they are going to say base. You do not need to process the word base. Your brain has already moved on to the next thought. This is the secret to fluent listening. You are not processing sound by sound. You are predicting patterns based on massive exposure to context. Part 5. The vocabulary illusion. We need to address the reason why learning more vocabulary is not fixing your listening problem. You have probably experienced this. You study a list of 50 new words. You memorize the spelling. You memorize the definition in your native language. A week later, you are watching a video. The speaker uses one of those words, and it flies right over your head. You completely miss it. Later, when you check the transcript, you slap your forehead and say, "I knew that word." No, you didn't. You knew how to read that word. You knew how to translate that word on a piece of paper. But your ears did not know that word. A word is not just a collection of letters. A word has a specific sonic fingerprint. It has a stressed syllable. It has unstressed syllables that get swallowed. If you learn the word comfortable by reading it, your brain expects to hear comfortable. But the native speaker says comfortable. If your brain does not have comfortable in its auditory database, the visual knowledge of the word is completely useless. From this moment forward, you are forbidden from learning vocabulary purely through text. Every time you learn a new word, you must learn its sonic fingerprint. You must hear it spoken by a native speaker. You must listen to it in 3 different sentences. You must say it out loud, focusing heavily on exactly which syllable gets the stress. If you do not know the sound of the word, you do not know the word. Period. Part 6. Mastering the conversational dynamic. Listening in a quiet room with headphones is one thing. Listening in real life, with background noise, multiple people talking, and the pressure of having to respond, is an entirely different war zone. To master real-life listening, you must learn to manage the psychological pressure. The number one reason your listening collapses in a real conversation is anxiety. The moment you miss a single word, the panic sets in. You start worrying about the word you missed, which means you miss the next 5 words, which means your anxiety spikes higher, and suddenly you are completely lost. You must accept a fundamental truth about human communication. Perfection is a myth. Native speakers misunderstand each other all the time. They miss words. They zone out. They ask each other to repeat themselves. It is a completely normal part of natural dialogue. You have to grant yourself permission to miss things. If you miss a word, drop it immediately. Do not dwell on it. Do not try to solve the puzzle of what that word was. Keep moving forward with the speaker. Ride the wave of the sentence. Most of the time, the context of the next sentence will automatically explain what you missed in the previous one. Furthermore, you need to arm yourself with conversational control phrases. Instead of nodding and pretending you understand, when you are completely lost, take control of the interaction. Native speakers respect confidence, even if your English is imperfect. Learn how to interrupt gracefully. Learn how to say, "Hold on, you lost me there. Can you backtrack a bit?" Learn how to say, "Just to make sure I am on the same page, are you saying?" And then paraphrase what you understood. Learn how to say, "I didn't quite catch the last part. What was that?" These phrases are not signs of weakness. They are signs of an active, engaged listener. They give you a shield against the fast-paced assault of a native speaker. They buy you time. They force the speaker to slow down and clarify their point. By taking control of the rhythm of the conversation, you instantly reduce your anxiety, which immediately improves your ability to hear and process the language. Part 7. The lifestyle integration. You now have the knowledge. You understand connected speech. You know the dictation and shadowing protocols. You know how to use speed overload. You understand the necessity of predicting context and ignoring perfect spelling. But knowledge is completely useless without aggressive, relentless application. You cannot fix 10 years of bad listening habits by trying this for 2 days. You have to build an engine. You have to integrate this training into the fabric of your daily life. You do not need to find an extra hour in your day. You need to reclaim the dead time you already have. Your commute to work, your time in the gym, your time washing dishes or cleaning your room. This is your audio laboratory. Delete the music playlist from your phone. Replace them with high-density English audio, podcasts, audiobooks, stand-up comedy, interviews. Let the sound of native English flood your brain during every spare minute. Even if you are not actively focusing on every word, passive listening is tuning your brain to the frequency, the rhythm, and the melody of the language. Then, dedicate 20 minutes every evening to the active work. The microscopic dictation, the intense shadowing, the transcript comparison. Sit down at your desk with a pen and paper. Pick a 1-minute video and go to war with the sounds. Rip the sentences apart. Find the schwas. Find the linking consonants. Write it all down. Prove to yourself that the fast blur of noise is actually a logical, predictable pattern. Do this for 30 days. Make it a non-negotiable habit. Just like brushing your teeth, do not wait for motivation. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are unreliable. Build a system. Set an alarm. Put your headphones on the table so they are the first thing you see. Eliminate the friction between you and your practice. Part 8. The reality of the transformation. I want to speak directly to the frustration you have felt for years. I know what it feels like to sit in a room full of people laughing at a joke, and you are the only one who didn't catch the punchline. I know what it feels like to feel less intelligent than you actually are, simply because your ears couldn't process the sound waves fast enough to show people the real you. It is exhausting. It is isolating. It makes you want to quit. But I need you to realize that the barrier you are facing is not a brick wall. It is a locked door, and today you have been handed the key. The blur of native English is not an impossible mystery. It is a puzzle of reductions, links, and speed. A puzzle that has rules. A puzzle that can be decoded, practiced, and ultimately mastered. Think about the profound freedom that is waiting for you on the other side of this training. Imagine sitting down at a table with native speakers from New York, from London, from Sydney, and feeling completely relaxed. Imagine not having to lean forward and strain your ears. Imagine the words just flowing into your mind as effortlessly and beautifully as your own mother tongue. Imagine watching your favorite movies and feeling the raw emotion in the actors' voices without your eyes darting down to read translated text at the bottom of the screen. Imagine walking into a high-stakes business negotiation, hearing the subtle tone of the other person's voice, and responding instantly, powerfully, and correctly. This is not a fantasy. This is a biological inevitability if you put in the physical reps. Your brain is designed to adapt to whatever environment you force it into. If you protect it with subtitles, it will remain weak. If you shelter it with slow, easy textbook audio, it will forever remain slow. But if you expose it to the fire of real, fast, chaotic, native English, if you force it to break down the sounds through dictation, if you demand that it processes meaning without the crutch of your native language, your brain will rewire itself. It will build new neural pathways. It will adapt, it will survive, and it will conquer. You are no longer a passive learner. You are no longer someone who hopes to understand. You are an auditory athlete in training. The days of feeling lost in a conversation are over. The days of silent nodding are over. The sound of real English is no longer your enemy. It is your training ground. Every fast sentence you hear is a repetition. Every confusing phrase is an opportunity to decode. Take a deep breath. Look at the system in front of you. Commit to the daily discipline. Your ears are ready. Your mind is capable. The barrier is gone. It is time to do the work. It is time to finally hear the world